If you are over 60 and spending money on expensive supplements while ignoring three of the most powerful foods sitting in your local grocery store for less than $5, stop for a moment and listen carefully. I hear this pattern almost every week in my research lab and clinical consultations. Doctor, I'm taking fish oil, CoQ10, and multivitamins. Aren't those the best things for my health? Just recently, a 71-year-old patient named Dorothy told me she was spending $200 per month on supplements. She had shelves full of bottles in her kitchen. What surprised her was this. Her blood work showed multiple nutritional deficiencies despite all those expensive pills. She was not neglecting her health. She was ignoring the most powerful, affordable foods that actually work. New research from our laboratory and institutions worldwide shows that one very common nutritional mistake, especially in adults over 60, can waste thousands of dollars while missing the nutrients your aging body desperately needs. I'm Dr. Robert Chen, nutritional biochemist with over 25 years studying food compounds and their effects on human longevity. And in this video, I will explain that mistake, why most seniors overlook these three incredible foods, and the exact science showing why these cheap, ignored foods are absolute nutritional goldmines that can transform your health after 60. Before we dive in, drop a comment with your age and where you're watching from today. Are you spending money on expensive supplements while skipping basic whole foods? Write your answer below because your experience helps our entire community. And hit that subscribe button because I share science-backed nutrition strategies like this every week to help you thrive after 60. Most people believe that if food is cheap and commonly available, it cannot be as powerful as expensive superfoods or concentrated supplements. But in adults over 60, that assumption is costing them their health and their money. These three foods I'm about to share contain compound concentrations that rival or exceed expensive supplements. In their whole food form, they deliver nutrients with better absorption, more cofactors, and greater biological activity than isolated supplements. Without these foods, your body struggles with inflammation, cellular repair, immune function, and disease prevention. Here is the problem. As we age, our nutritional needs increase dramatically while our calorie needs decrease. By the age of 60, our bodies require more antioxidants to combat oxidative stress. We need more anti-inflammatory compounds because chronic inflammation drives every age-related disease. We need more bioavailable nutrients because our digestive absorption decreases. Each year after 60, our cellular machinery accumulates more damage from free radicals, chronic inflammation, and metabolic stress. Without the right nutritional intervention, this damage accelerates aging and disease. I saw this clearly with one of my patients named Harold, age 68. He was taking 7 different supplements daily: vitamin D, calcium, fish oil, turmeric capsules, resveratrol, probiotics, and a multivitamin. He spent $180 monthly on these products. He felt he was doing everything right. His annual blood work told a different story. His inflammatory markers were elevated. His oxidative stress levels were high. His gut microbiome diversity was poor. His cellular antioxidant capacity was below optimal range. When I asked about his actual diet, the picture became clear. He rarely ate vegetables. He avoided most whole foods. He lived on processed meals, white bread, and meat. He thought supplements could replace real food. What most people do not realize is that whole foods contain thousands of beneficial compounds working together. Isolated supplements contain one or a few compounds in concentrated form. Your body evolved to recognize and utilize nutrients from food, not from pills. In older adults, relying entirely on supplements while ignoring powerful whole foods means missing the synergistic effects that make nutrition actually work. This is why so many seniors take handfuls of pills every day, yet still suffer from inflammation, poor immunity, low energy, and accelerating disease. At this point, you might be wondering what these three foods actually are. Here is where the first major breakthrough happened in nutritional science. Most seniors completely ignore these foods or eat them rarely, assuming they're just basic, ordinary items with no special value. They assume expensive equals effective. They assume cheap equals weak. But when we analyzed these three foods in our laboratory, the compound profiles were extraordinary. The anti-inflammatory power rivaled pharmaceutical medications. The antioxidant capacity exceeded many so-called superfoods. The nutrient density was off the charts. This is not marketing hype. This is peer-reviewed, published scientific data. That 71-year-old patient Dorothy I mentioned earlier was eating out most days. She grabbed convenient processed foods. She thought her supplement routine covered her nutritional bases. Yet her chronic joint pain persisted. Her energy stayed low. Her blood sugar remained elevated. Her inflammation markers never improved. When we replaced half her supplements with these 3 specific foods consumed daily, her results transformed within 90 days. Her C-reactive protein, a key inflammation marker, dropped by 60%. Her joint pain decreased significantly. Her fasting blood sugar normalized. Her energy levels increased dramatically. She stopped needing afternoon naps. This is why whole food nutrition matters just as much or more than expensive supplement regimens. If you're finding this helpful, go ahead and hit that like button. It really supports the channel and helps us reach more seniors who need this science-based information. Now let us talk about the first absolutely critical food that most seniors completely ignore. Food number 1 is canned sardines. Yes, you heard that correctly. Canned sardines sitting in your grocery store for $2 to $4 per can are one of the most nutritionally dense foods on planet Earth for people over 60. If you look at most people's approach to omega-3 fatty acids, they buy expensive fish oil supplements. They spend $30, $40, even $50 per bottle. They swallow large capsules daily. They assume this is the best way to get omega-3s for heart health, brain function, and inflammation control. But sardines deliver omega-3 fatty acids in their natural, whole food form, with dramatically better absorption and additional nutrients you cannot get from fish oil capsules. 1 can of sardines contains approximately 1,500 to 2,000 milligrams of omega-3 fatty acids, primarily EPA and DHA. That amount matches or exceeds most fish oil supplement doses. The difference is that sardines deliver these omega-3s alongside complete protein, calcium with perfect vitamin D ratios for absorption, selenium for antioxidant enzyme production, vitamin B12 for nerve health and energy, and coenzyme Q10 for cellular energy production. In adults over 60, omega-3 fatty acids from whole fish sources reduce cardiovascular disease risk, decrease chronic inflammation throughout the body, support cognitive function and memory, reduce joint pain and stiffness, improve mood and reduce depression risk, and support healthy skin and eye function. Research shows that people who consume small fatty fish like sardines 2 to 3 times weekly have significantly lower rates of heart attacks, strokes, dementia, and inflammatory diseases compared to those who avoid fish or rely only on supplements. I saw this transformation with a patient named Margaret, aged 73. She had been taking fish oil capsules for 8 years. She spent $35 monthly on high-quality molecularly distilled fish oil. Despite this, her triglycerides remained elevated at 185. Her joint pain from osteoarthritis limited her activities. Her memory seemed to be declining gradually. She worried about dementia. When we reviewed her diet, she ate almost no whole fish. She disliked the taste of most fish. She found cooking fish intimidating. I suggested she try canned sardines as an alternative to her fish oil supplements. She was skeptical at first. Sardines seemed too simple, too cheap, too ordinary to make a real difference. I explained the science. Sardines are small fish low on the food chain. They accumulate minimal mercury and toxins compared to large fish. They're eaten whole, including tiny bones rich in calcium. They're typically wild-caught, not farm-raised. They contain the entire nutrient matrix nature intended. She agreed to try them for 90 days. Margaret started eating 1 can of sardines 3 times per week. She mashed them on whole grain crackers. She mixed them into salads. She made sardine spread with lemon juice and olive oil. She stopped taking fish oil capsules. Within 8 weeks, her results were remarkable. Her triglycerides dropped from 185 to 132, well within the healthy range. Her joint pain decreased noticeably. She could walk longer distances without discomfort. Her focus and mental clarity improved. She reported feeling sharper during conversations. Her skin looked healthier and more hydrated. Even her optometrist noticed improvement in her dry eye condition. When Margaret came back for her follow-up blood work at 6 months, the changes were even more dramatic. Her inflammatory markers had normalized completely. Her omega-3 index, a measure of omega-3 levels in red blood cell membranes, increased from 4.2% to 7.8%. Optimal range is above 8%, and she was approaching that target. Her HDL cholesterol, the protective kind, increased from 48 to 58. Her blood pressure decreased from 138/88 to 126/78. She had lost 9 pounds without trying because the protein and healthy fats in sardines improved her satiety. Margaret told me something profound during that appointment. She said, "I thought expensive meant better. I thought supplements were more concentrated and therefore more powerful. I never imagined that a $3 a can of fish could do more for my health than all those pills." The research backs up Margaret's experience completely. A landmark study published in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition compared whole fish consumption to fish oil supplementation in adults over 65. The whole fish group showed significantly better outcomes for cardiovascular markers, cognitive function, and inflammation compared to the supplement group, even when omega-3 doses were matched. Another study from the Journal of Nutrition examined nutrient absorption from whole sardines versus isolated omega-3 capsules. The bioavailability, meaning actual absorption and utilization by the body, was 30 to 40% higher from whole sardines. The reason is simple. Whole foods contain cofactors that enhance absorption. Sardines provide vitamin D that helps calcium absorption. They provide selenium that supports antioxidant enzyme function. They provide coenzyme Q10 that enhances cellular energy production. You cannot get these synergistic effects from isolated fish oil. Here is what I want you to understand clearly about sardines. You do not need fancy preparation. You do not need expensive varieties. Simple canned sardines in water, olive oil, or tomato sauce work perfectly. Look for wild-caught varieties when possible. Choose brands with minimal added ingredients. Eat them 2 to 4 times per week. Each serving provides more usable omega-3s than most fish oil supplements at a fraction of the cost. For seniors concerned about mercury, sardines are one of the safest fish choices. They're small, short-lived fish that accumulate minimal toxins. The FDA and EPA list sardines as a best choice for frequent consumption, even for pregnant women. Compare that to large predatory fish like tuna, swordfish, or shark that accumulate dangerous mercury levels. For seniors concerned about bones, the bones in canned sardines are completely softened during processing. They're edible, safe, and incredibly beneficial. Those tiny bones provide calcium in its most bioavailable form, paired naturally with vitamin D for optimal absorption. 1 can of sardines with bones provides more absorbable calcium than most calcium supplements. When Margaret came back for her follow-up blood work at 6 months, the changes were even more dramatic. Her inflammatory markers had normalized completely. Her omega-3 index, a measure of omega-3 levels in red blood cell membranes, increased from 4.2% to 7.8%. Optimal range is above 8%, and she was approaching that target. Her HDL cholesterol, the protective kind, increased from 48 to 58. Her blood pressure decreased from 138/88 to 126/78. She had lost 9 pounds without trying because the protein and healthy fats in sardines improved her satiety. For seniors concerned about taste, experiment with different preparations. Mash sardines with avocado and lemon juice. Mix them into pasta with garlic and olive oil. Add them to grain bowls with vegetables. Make sardine pâté with cream cheese and herbs. Once you find a preparation you enjoy, sardines become an easy, affordable nutrition habit. The bottom line on sardines: they are not a boring, cheap food to ignore. They are a nutritional powerhouse that delivers omega-3s, protein, calcium, vitamin D, selenium, B vitamins, and coenzyme Q10 in one simple package for less than the cost of a coffee. If you are over 60 and not eating sardines regularly, you are missing one of nature's most perfect foods for healthy aging. Now we come to the second absolutely critical food that seniors ignore. Food number 2 is frozen spinach. I can hear some of you thinking, spinach? That's it? That's the big secret? Yes. Frozen spinach is an absolute nutritional goldmine that most seniors dramatically underestimate and underconsume. If you look at most people's vegetable intake after 60, it's abysmal. Many seniors eat one small side salad per day or a few pieces of cooked vegetables at dinner. They think that's sufficient. It is not even close. The research is crystal clear. Adults over 60 need significantly more vegetables than younger adults to combat oxidative stress and inflammation. Most seniors consume less than half the vegetables they actually need. Frozen spinach solves this problem completely. It is affordable, typically $1.50 to $3 per pound. It is convenient, requiring no washing, chopping, or preparation. It is nutrient-dense, often more so than fresh spinach due to flash freezing at peak ripeness. It stores for months without spoiling, eliminating waste. It's versatile, easily added to dozens of dishes. 1 cup of cooked frozen spinach delivers an extraordinary nutrient profile. It provides over 1,000% of your daily vitamin K requirement for bone health and blood clotting. It delivers over 300% of vitamin A for immune function and vision. It provides significant folate for DNA repair and red blood cell production. It contains substantial magnesium for muscle function, blood pressure control, and blood sugar regulation. It delivers iron for energy production and oxygen transport. It provides calcium, potassium, vitamin C, vitamin E, and dozens of protective plant compounds. But here is what makes spinach truly extraordinary for seniors. It contains powerful anti-inflammatory compounds called flavonoids and carotenoids. These compounds reduce systemic inflammation more effectively than many supplements. Research published in the Journal of Agricultural and Food Chemistry found that spinach consumption significantly reduces inflammatory markers, including C-reactive protein, interleukin-6, and tumor necrosis factor alpha. These are the exact inflammatory molecules that drive heart disease, diabetes, arthritis, Alzheimer's disease, and cancer. Spinach also contains unique compounds called thylakoids that slow fat digestion and increase satiety hormones. This helps with weight management, a critical factor for healthy aging. Studies show that thylakoid-rich spinach extracts reduce hunger, decrease food cravings, and promote weight loss in overweight adults. You do not need expensive thylakoid supplements. You just need to eat spinach regularly. Spinach contains lutein and zeaxanthin, carotenoids that accumulate in the retina and protect against age-related macular degeneration and cataracts. These compounds cannot be synthesized by the human body. You must get them from food. Spinach is one of the richest sources. I saw this impact dramatically with a patient named Robert, age 69. Robert had type 2 diabetes with poor blood sugar control. His A1C was 8.2, well above the target of 7.0 or below. His fasting blood sugar ranged from 145 to 170. His inflammation markers were elevated. His blood pressure was 148/92 despite medication. His weight had been creeping up steadily, now 42 pounds over his ideal range. He was taking metformin, a statin, and blood pressure medication. Despite all these medications, his numbers barely budged. When I reviewed Robert's diet, the problem was obvious. He ate almost no vegetables, maybe a few lettuce leaves on a sandwich, occasionally some corn or potatoes, which are mostly starch. His plate was dominated by meat, bread, rice, and processed foods. His fiber intake was less than 10 grams daily when he needed 30 grams or more. I asked Robert if he would commit to one simple change: eat 1 cup of cooked frozen spinach every single day for 90 days. Just 1 cup. He could add it to eggs at breakfast, mix it into soup at lunch, or have it as a side at dinner. Robert agreed but remained skeptical. How could something as simple as spinach make a real difference when medications were barely working? I explained the science. Spinach provides fiber that slows glucose absorption. It provides magnesium that improves insulin sensitivity. It provides alpha-lipoic acid, a compound that enhances glucose metabolism. It provides nitrates that improve blood vessel function and lower blood pressure. It provides dozens of anti-inflammatory compounds that reduce the inflammation driving his diabetes and cardiovascular risk. Robert started adding frozen spinach to his morning omelette. He mixed it into his afternoon soup. He sautéed it with garlic as a dinner side. He was shocked at how easy it was. 1 bag of frozen spinach lasted him 3 to 4 days. The cost was negligible, about $6 per week. Within 4 weeks, Robert noticed changes. His energy improved. He stopped experiencing mid-afternoon crashes. His digestion improved significantly. He was having regular, comfortable bowel movements for the first time in years. His chronic heartburn decreased. At 8 weeks, his blood work started shifting. His fasting blood sugar dropped from an average of 158 to 128. His A1C decreased from 8.2 to 7.6. His blood pressure improved to 136/84. His triglycerides fell from 210 to 165. At 12 weeks, the transformation was undeniable. His A1C reached 7.1, approaching his target for the first time in 3 years. His fasting blood sugar stabilized between 110 and 125. His blood pressure normalized to 128/80. His inflammation markers decreased by 45%. He lost 14 pounds without consciously dieting. The fiber and nutrients from spinach naturally reduced his appetite and improved his metabolism. Robert's doctor was stunned. In his 15 years of treating Robert's diabetes, he had never seen such improvement without adding medications or increasing doses. Robert told his doctor about the daily spinach habit. His doctor initially dismissed it as coincidental. But when Robert showed him the research I had provided, his doctor became genuinely interested. Robert continued his spinach habit for another 6 months. His A1C dropped further to 6.8. His weight decreased another 12 pounds. His doctor reduced his metformin dose. His blood pressure medication was cut in half. When Robert came to see me at the 1-year mark, he was a different person. He had lost 28 pounds total. His diabetes was under better control than it had been in over a decade. His energy was excellent. His mood had improved dramatically. He told me, "I spent years thinking I needed expensive organic superfoods or fancy supplements. The answer was frozen spinach from the grocery store for $2 per bag. It seems too simple to be true, but the results speak for themselves." The research supporting Robert's experience is extensive. A meta-analysis published in the British Medical Journal examined vegetable consumption and diabetes risk in over 220,000 adults. Those consuming the most leafy green vegetables, especially spinach, had a 14% lower risk of developing type 2 diabetes. Among those who already had diabetes, higher leafy green intake was associated with better blood sugar control and reduced complications. Another study from the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition found that nitrate-rich vegetables like spinach significantly lowered blood pressure in older adults within just days of consumption. Here is what I want you to understand about frozen spinach. Fresh spinach wilts quickly and loses nutrients during storage. Frozen spinach is picked at peak ripeness and flash frozen within hours, locking in nutrients. Studies comparing fresh versus frozen vegetables consistently show that frozen varieties often contain equal or higher nutrient levels, especially if fresh vegetables have been stored for days before consumption. Frozen spinach is pre-washed and pre-chopped. You simply heat it and eat it. There is no excuse for not including it in your daily diet. For seniors concerned about oxalates in spinach, this concern is overblown for most people. Oxalates can theoretically contribute to kidney stones in susceptible individuals. But the vast majority of seniors will never have issues. If you have a history of calcium oxalate kidney stones, discuss spinach intake with your doctor. For everyone else, the benefits far outweigh any theoretical risks. For seniors on blood thinners like warfarin, vitamin K intake should be consistent. Spinach is high in vitamin K. If you're on warfarin, don't avoid spinach. Just eat similar amounts regularly so your doctor can adjust your medication dose appropriately. Consistent intake is key. The bottom line on frozen spinach: it is not just a boring side vegetable. It is a disease-fighting, inflammation-reducing, nutrient-dense powerhouse that costs almost nothing and requires zero preparation skill. If you are over 60 and not eating at least 1 cup of cooked leafy greens daily, you are missing massive health benefits. At this point, you may realize something important. These first 2 foods, sardines and spinach, are not exotic. They are not expensive. They are not hard to find. They are sitting in every grocery store in America, ignored by millions of seniors who spend fortunes on supplements that deliver far less benefit. Now, Let me walk you through the third and final food that is an absolute nutritional goldmine for seniors. Food number 3 is canned white beans, including cannellini beans, navy beans, and Great Northern beans. I can already hear the objections. Beans? Really? Aren't beans just cheap filler food with nothing special? This is exactly the misconception that keeps seniors from accessing one of nature's most perfect foods for longevity and disease prevention. If you look at populations around the world with the longest lifespans and lowest disease rates, they all share one dietary characteristic: high bean and legume consumption. The blue zones, regions where people routinely live past 100 in excellent health, include Okinawa, Japan, Sardinia, Italy, Icaria, Greece, Nicoya, Costa Rica, and Loma Linda, California. In every single one of these regions, beans and legumes are dietary staples consumed daily. This is not coincidence. This is biology. Canned white beans deliver an extraordinary combination of nutrients and beneficial compounds that work synergistically to prevent and reverse age-related disease. 1 cup of canned white beans provides approximately 19 grams of protein, crucial for maintaining muscle mass in seniors. It delivers 13 grams of dietary fiber, supporting gut health, blood sugar control, cholesterol reduction, and satiety. It provides substantial folate for DNA repair and cardiovascular health. It contains significant magnesium for blood pressure, blood sugar, and bone health. It delivers iron, potassium, zinc, and B vitamins. But here is what makes white beans truly extraordinary for people over 60. They contain resistant starch, a special type of carbohydrate that resists digestion in the small intestine and feeds beneficial gut bacteria in the colon. This resistant starch acts like a prebiotic, fueling the growth of health-promoting bacteria that produce short-chain fatty acids. These fatty acids reduce inflammation, improve insulin sensitivity, strengthen the gut barrier, enhance immune function, and even produce neurotransmitters that affect mood and cognition. Research published in Nutrients Journal found that resistant starch from beans significantly improved insulin sensitivity, reduced inflammatory markers, lowered cholesterol levels, and promoted healthy weight in older adults. The effects were dose-dependent. More beans equaled better results. White beans also contain plant compounds called saponins and polyphenols that have potent anti-cancer properties. Studies show these compounds inhibit cancer cell growth, promote cancer cell death, and reduce metastasis in laboratory and animal models. Population studies consistently show that people who eat beans regularly have lower rates of colon cancer, breast cancer, and prostate cancer. White beans have an exceptionally low glycemic index, despite being a carbohydrate source. This means they cause minimal blood sugar spikes. For seniors with diabetes or prediabetes, beans are one of the best carbohydrate choices possible. They provide sustained energy without the blood sugar roller coaster of bread, pasta, or rice. I saw this transformation with a patient named Dorothy, age 66. Dorothy had struggled with her weight for 30 years. She was 68 pounds overweight. Her cholesterol was dangerously high, with LDL at 186 and HDL at 38. Her blood pressure was 152/94 despite medication. Her fasting blood sugar was 118, putting her in the prediabetes range. She had chronic constipation, going days between bowel movements. She felt tired constantly. She had tried every diet: low-fat, low-carb, keto, paleo, intermittent fasting. Nothing worked long-term. When I reviewed Dorothy's diet, I saw the pattern immediately. She ate almost no fiber. Her intake was less than 12 grams daily when she needed at least 25 grams. She avoided beans because she thought they were fattening carbs. She avoided most vegetables. She ate mostly meat, cheese, eggs, and low-fiber processed foods. Her gut was essentially starving. I asked Dorothy to make one primary change. Add 1 cup of white beans to her diet every single day. She could add them to salads, soups, or grain bowls. She could mash them into spreads. She could eat them as a side dish. Just 1 cup daily, every day, for 90 days. Dorothy was skeptical, but desperate. She agreed. She bought several cans of cannellini beans from the grocery store. She started adding half a can to her lunch salad. She mixed beans into her dinner soups. She made white bean hummus with garlic and lemon. The cost was minimal, about $1 per can. Within 1 week, Dorothy noticed dramatic changes in her digestion. Her chronic constipation resolved completely. She was having comfortable daily bowel movements. Her bloating decreased significantly. Her energy started improving. Within 4 weeks, she noticed she was less hungry between meals. The fiber and protein from beans kept her satisfied for hours. She stopped snacking mindlessly in the afternoon. She naturally ate smaller portions at dinner because she felt full sooner. At 8 weeks, her blood work started shifting dramatically. Her LDL cholesterol dropped from 186 to 152, a 34-point decrease without adding medication. Her HDL increased from 38 to 46, moving toward the protective range. Her triglycerides fell from 198 to 145. Her fasting blood sugar dropped from 118 to 98, moving out of the prediabetes range into normal territory. Her blood pressure improved to 138/86. At 12 weeks, the transformation was remarkable. Dorothy had lost 18 pounds without consciously restricting calories. The fiber from beans naturally regulated her appetite. Her LDL cholesterol reached 138, nearly at goal. Her HDL climbed to 52. Her blood pressure normalized to 128/78. Her doctor reduced her blood pressure medication. Her energy levels were the best they had been in years. Her mood improved significantly. She no longer experienced the afternoon crashes that had plagued her for years. Dorothy continued her daily bean habit. At 6 months, she had lost 32 pounds. At 1 year, she had lost 48 pounds and maintained that loss effortlessly. Her cholesterol panel was completely normal without statin medication. Her blood pressure was 122/76 on a reduced medication dose. Her blood sugar remained solidly in the normal range. Her gut health transformed completely. Her chronic digestive issues vanished. When Dorothy came for her annual follow-up, she brought me a gift. It was a cookbook about beans. She told me, "I spent 30 years fighting my weight, trying every expensive diet program and supplement on the market. The answer was canned beans from the grocery store for $1 per can. I wish I had known this decades ago. My health would be completely different."